My name is Elena Carter, and I'm 27 years old. The day I graduated with my master's degree, my parents didn't show up. 2 empty seats, row 11. But 1 week later, a billion-dollar company offered me a deal worth over $5 million. And suddenly, my family wanted a meeting, but I didn't go there to celebrate. I went there to end something. Permanently. Let me take you back to a small town called Brookhaven. I was 9 years old when I realized something most kids never have to think about. I wasn't the favorite. I wasn't even second. I was tolerated. The classroom smelled like chalk and old paper. Mrs. Reynolds stood in front of the board, calling out spelling words. Beautiful. I froze. The letters twisted in my mind. B-E-A. They didn't stay still. They never did. By the time I wrote half the word, the test was already being collected. That afternoon, my mother got the call. She may have a learning disability. I stood in the doorway, holding my breath. My mother didn't look at me. She gets that from your side, she told my father. Like I was a defect, not a daughter. The next morning, she handed me a form. Already signed. You're switching classes, she said. No explanation, no discussion, just a decision. You'll be with kids like you. Kids like me. That sentence stayed with me for years. My brother Daniel was everything I wasn't. Confident, smart, celebrated. When he turned 18, my parents threw him a party that felt like a wedding. There were banners, custom cake, 30 guests. Our pride, Daniel Carter. I carried drinks, refilled glasses, cleaned plates. Nobody asked me a single question. Not about school, not about my future, nothing. At one point, my aunt tried. Elena, how are your studies going? Before I could answer, she's doing her best, my mom interrupted. We're just happy she's still in school. The conversation ended right there, like I didn't deserve one. That night, while cleaning the yard alone, I found something. Daniel's old laptop, cracked, discarded, forgotten, just like me. That laptop changed everything, because for the first time in my life, something made sense. Code. It didn't judge me. It didn't shift or blur like words on paper. It followed rules. Clear. Precise. Fair. If it broke, it told me why. I started teaching myself in secret. Library Wi-Fi. Headphones. Text-to-speech software. While other kids watched movies, I listened to code for hours, every day. At 15, I built my first website. At 16, I automated my assignments. At 17, I was solving problems faster than top students. But no one knew, because no one asked. One night, my mom walked into my room, saw the screen, rolled her eyes, stopped wasting electricity on games, and walked out. She never looked twice, because she had already decided who I was. I got into a university, full scholarship, computer science. I showed my mom the letter. She barely looked at it. A scholarship for computers? She laughed. Who's going to hire you? My dad drove me to campus. 3 hours, silence. When we arrived, he helped me unload my bags, then said one sentence, "Call your mother sometimes." No, I'm proud of you. No good luck. Just instructions. That was the moment I stopped expecting anything from them. College was hard. Twice the effort. Twice the time. But I didn't quit because I had something they never saw. Pattern recognition. Logic. Relentless focus. Then I met Professor Helen Brooks. She looked at my work and said something no one ever had. Your brain isn't broken. It's different. And different is powerful. Those words changed everything. I finished my master's at 25, 6 years of work, 6 years of proving them wrong. Graduation day, row 11, 2 empty seats. But my professor was there, clapping louder than anyone. A week later, an email changed my life. A tech company, multi-billion valuation. They wanted my algorithm. One meeting turned into a deal. 5 million, my name everywhere. News, articles, headlines. And then my phone rang. Mom, we're so proud of you. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel happy hearing that. I felt nothing. Family meeting, she said. Come home. But something fell off, so I investigated. Debt, huge debt, my brother's business failing, house mortgaged, everything collapsing. And suddenly, I wasn't the failure anymore. I was the solution. Saturday, I walked into that house. Same walls, same silence, same people. But this time, I wasn't invisible. They smiled too much, talked too nicely, acted like nothing ever happened. Then finally, my brother spoke. We need help. There it was. The truth. I didn't argue, didn't shout, didn't cry. I just opened my folder and placed a document on the table. I'm not here to help, I said calmly. I'm here to make something clear. They stared at me, confused. I'm legally removing myself from any financial responsibility toward this family. Silence. And I will not be paying for your mistakes. My mother's face changed, from sweet to cold. You owe us, she snapped. I smiled for the first time. No, I said. You just ran out of someone to ignore. I stood up, walked out, and didn't look back. Because that day, I didn't just become successful, I became free. The house smelled exactly the same. Polish, old wood, and something heavier. Expectation. I hadn't been back in almost 2 years. But nothing had changed. Same couch, same family photos, same wall, covered with pictures of Daniel. Awards, certificates, smiles. I scanned the wall slowly. Not a single photo of me. Not one. Camille. My mother's voice cut through the room like a performance. Too bright, too rehearsed. She rushed toward me and hugged me tightly. Too tightly, like she was trying to prove something. We've missed you so much, she said. I didn't hug her back immediately. There was a pause. Small, but noticeable. I've been busy, I replied. My father stood near the doorway, hands in pockets. Same posture, same distance. Hey, kiddo. 2 words. That was all. Then Daniel walked in, confident, relaxed, like nothing was wrong. Wow, he said, looking me up and down. Big tech star now, huh? There was a tone in his voice. Not pride, not admiration. Something else. Measurement. We sat at the table. Same table where I once sat silent while they talked over me. But this time, everyone was looking at me. Dinner started normally. Too normally. Small talk. Fake laughter. Questions that weren't really questions. How's your job? How's the city? Are you eating properly? No one mentioned the article. No one mentioned the money, but I could feel it sitting in the room, like a fourth person. Then my mother placed her fork down. That was the signal. So, she said softly, we should talk about the future. There it was. I stayed quiet. Let her continue. Families support each other, she said. That's what we've always believed. Always? I almost smiled. My father cleared his throat. Things have been a little tight lately. A little. Daniel leaned forward. We've been expanding the business. I looked at him. Didn't say anything. It's just temporary, he added quickly. Every business goes through phases. Marcus, sitting next to me, stayed silent, observing everything. My mother jumped in again. We didn't want to burden you, sweetheart. Sweetheart. But now that you're doing so well, she hesitated, then said it. We thought maybe you could help your family. There it was. Clean. Clear! Exactly what I expected. How much? I asked. The room went still. They weren't expecting that. Not so direct. My father looked at Daniel. Daniel looked at my mother. Finally, Daniel spoke. About 200,000. And the house? I added. Silence. My father's eyes flickered. Another 180, I said calmly. My mother turned to him. Glenn, what is she talking about? He didn't answer. I leaned back in my chair. This isn't a small help request, I said. This is over $350,000. My mother's face changed. The performance cracked. Is that true? She demanded. My father looked down. It was an investment, Daniel snapped. I was trying to grow the business. And you failed, I said. Silence dropped like a weight. No, he said quickly. It's just temporary. You're behind on supplier payments, I continued. Cash-only terms. His face went pale. How do you know that? He asked. I did my homework, I said. Marcus finally spoke. Public records are very detailed. That's when the mood shifted completely. This wasn't a family dinner anymore. This was exposure. My mother looked between all of us. Confused, angry. Why didn't anyone tell me? She demanded. Because control was slipping. Because the story she believed wasn't real anymore. Daniel slammed his hand on the table. This isn't the point. Then he looked at me. Straight, sharp. You can fix this. Not help, not support. Fix, like I was a tool. Like I always had been. I looked at him for a long second. Then I said quietly, No. The word landed harder than shouting. What do you mean, no? My mother snapped. I mean, no, I repeated. My father finally spoke. Camille, it's family. Family. That word again. Where was family when I graduated? I asked. Silence. When I called 47 times? I continued. No answer. When I sent money and didn't even get a thank you? My voice stayed calm, controlled, but every word hit. My mother's expression hardened. That's different, she said. No, I replied. It's exactly the same. Daniel leaned forward again. Angry now. You're seriously going to let us lose everything? I met his eyes. You already did that, I said. The room exploded. This is unbelievable. My mother shouted. After everything we've done for you? I laughed. Actually laughed, and that shocked them more than anything. What exactly did you do for me? I asked. Silence. No one had an answer, because there wasn't one. I reached into my bag, slowly pulled out the folder, and placed it on the table. This, I said calmly, is why I'm really here. They looked at it, confused. My mother picked it up, opened it. Her eyes moved across the page. then stopped. "What is this?" she whispered. "A legal document," Marcus said. "Voluntary separation," I added. "I am officially removing myself from all financial responsibility toward this family." My father froze. Daniel stood up. "This is insane." "No," I said. "This is boundaries." My mother's hands were shaking. "You're abandoning us." I shook my head. "No," I said quietly. "You abandoned me first." Silence. Heavy, final. I stood up. The door didn't slam behind me. It closed quietly, soft, controlled. Final. That silence followed me all the way to the car. Marcus didn't start the engine immediately. He looked at me once. "You okay?" he asked. I stared straight ahead, at the same street I grew up on. Same houses, same people, same life that I was finally walking away from. "I am now," I said. And for the first time, that wasn't a lie. The aftermath, first crack. We drove back that night. No calls, no messages, nothing, until the next morning. My phone started ringing. Mom, Dad, Danielle, Mom again. I didn't answer. Then the texts came. "Mom, we need to talk. You misunderstood everything." "Dad, call me, kiddo." "Daniel, don't do this." I stared at the screen, then turned it off. Because for once, I wasn't going to respond immediately. I was going to let them feel it. Silence. The same silence I lived in for years. The pressure builds. 3 days later, Marcus called me. "They've contacted a lawyer," he said. I paused. "For what?" I asked. "They're trying to challenge your separation document." I almost laughed. "On what grounds?" I said. "Emotional dependency, family obligation, possible verbal agreements." That time, I did laugh. "They don't have anything," I said. "I know," Marcus replied. "But they're desperate, and desperate people make loud mistakes." The brothers collapse. A week later, the first real crack hit. Porter Building Supply missed another payment, then another. Suppliers pulled out. Inventory stopped. And within 2 weeks, the store was half empty. Daniel posted online again. "Hard times don't break real entrepreneurs." But this time, no one believed it, because reality doesn't care about captions. The visit. 2 weeks after the dinner, there was a knock on my apartment door. I already knew who it was. My mother and my father, standing there, not polished, not controlled, worried. "Can we come in?" she asked softly. That tone again, the one she only used when she needed something. I stepped aside. They walked in slowly, looking around. My space, my life, something in their faces shifted. Maybe for the first time, they saw it. I didn't need them. The begging begins. We sat down. No small talk this time. No performance. Just truth. "We're in trouble," my father said quietly. I didn't respond. My mother leaned forward. "The bank. They're moving faster than we expected." "How fast?" I asked. 3 months, she said. "Not 6. 3. The pressure was closing in. "We could lose the house," she whispered. There it was. Not "we miss you." Not "we're sorry." We could lose the house. I nodded slowly. "I know," I said. That shocked them. "You knew?" my father asked. "I know everything." I replied calmly. The room went quiet, the shift in power. My mother's voice broke slightly. Camille, please. That word, please. I had never heard her say that to me before. Not once in 26 years. We need your help, she said. I leaned back, looked at both of them, and asked one simple question. Why? They froze. What do you mean, why? She said. Why should I help you? I repeated. Silence, because there was no emotional answer, only a financial one. The truth comes out. My father finally spoke. We made mistakes. I waited. That's it? I said. My mother's eyes filled with tears. We didn't realize... She started. What? I asked. How much we hurt you. The words hung in the air, but they felt late, very late. It the final break. Do you remember my graduation? I asked. No one answered. Row 14, I continued. 2 empty seats. My voice stayed calm. Do you remember calling it just a ceremony? My mother looked down. Do you remember telling people I was lucky to still be in school? Silence. Do you remember not calling me for 2 years? My father closed his eyes. Every memory landed, one by one. The offer. I can help you, I said finally. Both of them looked up instantly. Hope, immediate, desperate, but not the way you want. Confusion replaced it. I will not give you money, I said. Their faces dropped. But I will offer you something else. They waited. A clean exit. What does that mean? My father asked. It means, I said calmly, I'll pay for legal restructuring, bank negotiations, debt settlement. But the store, I looked at my father, gets sold. Daniel's dream, gone. My mother shook her head immediately. No, that's reality, I said. The explosion. He worked his whole life for that. She snapped. And I worked my whole life to be ignored, I replied. Silence. Sharp, heavy. You don't get to choose both anymore, I said. They didn't answer that day. My parents sat in my apartment, silent, broken, thinking. For the first time in their lives, they couldn't control the outcome. I guess we need time, my father finally said. I nodded. Take it, I replied. Because for once, time wasn't on their side. The fall. 2 weeks later, the call came. Not from my mother, not from my father, from Daniel. His voice was different. No confidence, no arrogance, just fear. They're shutting us down, he said. I didn't ask what he meant. I already knew. The store. What happened? I asked anyway. The supplier contract got pulled. Bank froze the credit line. We can't restock. His voice cracked. I tried to fix it. For the first time ever. Daniel sounded small. I really tried. I closed my eyes for a second. I know, I said quietly. And I meant it, because failure wasn't new to me. But it was new to him. The decision. That same evening, my father called. We'll accept your offer. No pride, no resistance, just surrender. The kind that comes when there's no other option left. The end of the store. The process was fast. Legal teams, bank negotiations, debt restructuring. Within a month, Porter Building Supply was sold. 35 years of history, gone. Not with a bang, but with paperwork. I didn't attend the final signing. Some endings don't need an audience. The house. The house was saved. Barely. Restructured. Refinanced. Reduced. But it wasn't the same anymore, because something else had been lost with it. Control. The last visit. A month later, I went back. Not because they asked, because I chose to. The house felt smaller. Quieter. Real. My mother opened the door. No performance this time. No fake smile. Just honesty. You look different, she said softly. I am, I replied. We sat in the living room. No tension. No expectations. Just space. The apology. I was wrong, she said. Just 4 words, but heavier than everything she had ever said before. I didn't see you, she continued. I didn't try to understand you. Her voice shook. And by the time I realized, she stopped. It was too late. I looked at her for a long moment. Because this was all I had ever wanted. Not money, not praise, just acknowledgement. The truth. It was late, I said. But not too late for you. She looked confused. But it was too late for me to need it, I finished. That was the difference. The brother. Daniel came in quietly. No ego, no attitude, just humbled. I messed up, he said. I nodded. We both did, he added. That surprised me, because for the first time, he included himself. The final line with them. I'm not your solution anymore, I said. They didn't argue, didn't protest, because now they understood. The walk away. I stood up, looked around the house one last time, the place where I was invisible, the place that shaped me and broke me. And then I walked out, not angry, not sad, just done. The glow up. 6 months later, my life looked completely different. New city, new apartment, floor-to-ceiling windows, skyline view. My work? Everywhere. Streaming platforms, tech conferences, industry talks. People respected me, listened to me, not because I asked them to, but because I earned it. The final moment, full circle. One evening, I got a notification. Facebook. My mother had posted something. A photo. Me. From an article. Caption, proud of my daughter. I stared at it. For a long time. Then, I closed the app. No like, no comment, nothing.